Hi everyone, welcome back to Diamond Dave's Billiards. Today I thought I'd do a little voiceover of some 10 ball. I was playing the 10 ball Pro Ghost, which is where you don't take ball in hand after the break. If you miss, the Ghost wins a point. If you clear the rack, you win a point. And I put together a little 4-pack and did a super quick edit and thought I'd give some commentary. But really, this is just an excuse to show the 4th rack in this 4-pack, which is probably one of the most idiotic break and runs I've ever done, perhaps one of the most idiotic break and runs I've ever seen, including Chris Melling's 8-ball run out. Let me know what you think. Of course, in pool, idiotic break and runs are usually full of bad shots, otherwise they would look boring. So to start off with, here's a little analysis of the 10-ball break. So I'm doing the traditional 10-ball break where I'm trying to pop the white ball up and land it there in the circle. Hitting just above center fairly forcefully, and coming in at this angle, the 1 should track towards the opposite corner pocket, and you also have a chance hitting fairly square on of the second row of balls going in the side pocket, and additionally you're looking at the bottom 2 corner balls tracking 4 rails down into the bottom corner pockets. And you can see in this slow-mo here that this break worked out perfectly. I probably could have had a little bit more top on the cue ball, but things worked out pretty well, as they are. And here it is in full speed. Now I've got a little cue ball diagram in the top left corner, but you know, these things they don't account for the pace that you play the shot and the feel and all those kinds of things. Now I just want to talk about this shot here. As pool players, we tend to look for the pocket that is closest to the object ball. And you can see I've got the 4 or the 5 up there next, which means I want to get under this red line, but the 10 and the 7 are sort of a bit awkward. So instead I play into that trapezoid shape there for the bottom corner pocket. That way I stay away from any danger balls like the 7 and the 10 and leave myself a pretty straight 3. I wasn't in a great mood when I was playing, so I was getting really frustrated when I didn't hit shots exactly the way I want to, but I tend to do that in practice anyway. In a match, I wouldn't show my frustration like that. I could have played this with running side, right-hand side, and gone around the back of the 8, but just came down the center of the table with left-hand side. And as long as I leave myself any kind of angle on the 8 here, I should be good. You see me get a little bit frustrated here, I think, because I didn't come far enough. And I shouldn't be, and in a match I wouldn't be, because this 9 is really no problem to get around 3 cushions for the 10. So that's the first rack in this little 4-rack sequence. I've been working on my speed racking skills as well. You can see I'm doing pretty well. Oh, now here's an example of what happens. I hit across the face of the 1. So instead of the 1 getting squeezed up to the right hand top pocket, it comes back towards where I've got the cue ball. And I was lucky here that I didn't scratch. The risk here playing this break is if you don't hit it square, you can curl the cue ball into either side pocket. But I got pretty lucky here because the 1 landed potable. Now I want to talk about this shot. People talk about using rails as breaks when you're playing for position, but here another advantage is that if you use 2 rails instead of 1 rail here, if you use 1 rail, you're getting 1 shot at landing in the zone. But if you use 2 rails, if you underhit it, you get the first shot at landing in the zone. If you play it correctly, you come back off the cushion and land in the zone as well. So that's another advantage to playing off 2 rails. Going through the position zone twice gives you that little bit of extra leeway to land in the correct spot. And here as well, I want to talk about, so the 3 is not potable in these bottom corner pockets. And looking at it now, maybe I should have played the 3-6 combo, but as long as I land somewhere up in that trapezoid shape, then a lot of good things can happen. And I probably landed in the worst possible position after I played this shot. But really, anywhere in there would be fine. I can play the 3 into either of these bottom pockets. Like I said, I kind of landed in one of the worst possible positions here, but it's still not a particularly difficult shot. Just a touch to hold for the 4. I didn't play this shot very well. Didn't hit it anywhere near hard enough. I was getting really frustrated actually. I just couldn't get the position right, but fortunately was able to just cut this back in. And, a shot like the 7 here, you've just got to make sure you get on the right side of the 8 to come down for the 10 ball. You don't want to have to come off 3 or 4 cushions to get back down for the money ball, which I was able to do. Okay, in this rack, I think I hit the break fairly well, but I didn't get the sort of pop and top on the cue ball. So yeah, the cue ball comes back to the kitchen rail, and luckily it bounces back off the kitchen rail, so I end up with a shot on the 1, but quite often that can stay near the rail and you end up in a bit of trouble. I played that with a little bit too much right hand side and just flicked the 3, but got lucky. And coming up here is an example of why it's so important to land on the line of the shot. So here you can see the line of the 4 ball, and I've got to stay above that line. And if I do, I can just pop over to the rail for the 6. No problems, simple as. But you can see here I come too far and I land basically on the line of the shot. I'm frustrated again, so I have to play this draw shot, which can go wrong in many ways. And I thought I hit it too hard, and it was a millimeter off being too hard. Luckily I was just able to get through to the 6, bit of left hand side to hold off the rail for the 7. And from here it's pretty elementary again. Oh, look at that big white fat stomach. That's my COVID stomach, I promise. 3 years ago I wasn't there. Again, these little simple shots at the end of racks, you just need to make sure you get on the right lines, and you should be out. And really, here's my this little 4 rack sequence is just an excuse to show this coming rack. Don't really know what I can say about it, but so the break wasn't great to start with, and here you can see I lost the 1 up on the rail. So immediately on the camera, this shot on the 1 doesn't look too difficult, but if you look at the path of the cue ball after I play it, you can see it was quite a sharp cut into the side pocket, and all I wanted to do was come out for the 2. I thought about playing this with a lot of right hand side and trying to come on this path here, but as you can see, the 5 and the 10 are really dangerous here. I could clip the 5, I could clip the 10, lots of ways it could go wrong, so I just tried to power it up with a lot of bottom left hand side. Unfortunately hit the 7, which pushed it right near the 4. Now here I play a shot in snooker, we call this a marker's double, off the short rail, long rail, and into the side pocket. And this was, I could have played it with left hand side and just dropped it in the pocket, but there was no chance of position. As it is, I didn't get position anyway. But I thought if I play this shot and I go a little bit wide, there's a chance I'll hit the 6 and go in off the 6 into the side pocket. So I sort of viewed this pocket as a slightly larger than normal pocket because the 6 was there. And clipped the 7, which narrowed the angle of the cue ball, and I clipped the corner jaw as well, but really. Now, the only reason I could play this shot, a little while ago I made a video about why I think it's really good to spend 5 or 10 minutes just tooling around at the end of every practice session, just playing with side and doubles and banks, because every shot you play gives you data to put in your little data bank, it gives you information. And I spent like 30 or 40 minutes some months ago practicing idiotic ways to pot the 9 off the spot. And I came to learn that if you, with the 9 on the spot, if you fire it into the short rail just before the corner pocket, there's a pretty good chance you'll go off 2 rails and up into that top corner pocket. So I just took that line and shifted it parallel to the 5 and felt pretty comfortable with it. Nailed it and got totally awful position once again. So played an extreme cutback, and finally I get a bit of a run, clip the 7, land in perfect position. Now I can just very easily control the run out and finish. No, I can't. I play this with way too much side, and instead of coming under the 8, land on top of it and have to play this shot with, again, too much side. I thought it would check off the second rail to leave myself a really easy shot with the cue ball right under the cushion again, like the one that I started with, but managed to knock it in. And a fist pump of joy, which was a genuine fist pump of joy. My fist pumps are usually sarcastic. This one was genuine. I was super happy to run that rack out because every shot felt ridiculous. All right, that wraps it up, guys. I hope you enjoyed that little 4-pack. And if you did, please consider hitting the like or the subscribe button. I enjoy making these videos, and that gives me a little bit of encouragement to continue doing so. Okay, until next time, get out there and enjoy playing some pool. Ciao.